Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today as I take my final look and review of the Quirky Club's reading journal. So we talked a little bit about this journal when I first reviewed it. I'll pop a link to the video, pop a card up, and you can see my first reactions. So I've used this reading journal for a year now, and I still obviously really like the cover. It's beautiful, the spine. Everything about the outside is perfect. And to be honest, that's what drew me to this journal. I hadn't used a pre-prepared journal before. I'd always just kind of DIY'd it. So this was a bit of a learning experience, let's say. So we'll get into it. Try not to make this video too long. I did the nameplate, so that all worked fine. To be honest, I didn't really pay a huge amount of attention to the paragraphs that were written at the start of each section, and I didn't use the contents either. Probably should fill that in, because I did use it for all of my reviews. Like I say, I read, I think, 50 books last year and committed most of them to this journal. I didn't do any of the colouring in, and I did use the bookshelves, but only for logging the books I'd already read, and I just did a colour code of whether the books are physical, ebook or audio format. So that worked okay. Didn't need the extra pages. The goals and the to-do list, I almost wish that they left this blank, or maybe put suggestions like in this part, because these weren't really relevant to me. I added my own, which I did meet. I made a couple of the ones that they'd already pre-written, but the rest didn't really fit. And like, who's got like a goal and a to-do list for reading this long? Like, is that really necessary? I don't know. Didn't use the upcoming releases, and I did start to use the reading tracker for 3 months, and then I just fell off the wagon. I read every day, pretty much without fail. So completing the tracker just felt a bit like homework, because I had to remember if I was reading, like what format I was reading. It just didn't really work for me. I know I'm not alone with that. The reading challenges. I just had the one here, 40 books in 2025, and just logged them. That worked okay. To be read, I listed a few, I read a few, I've still got a few to read. Again, doesn't need to be this long, I don't think. I don't know. The quick reviews were very, very useful. I don't think I used them like specifically as like a quick review. I tended to use them as a quick way of like collating the information, so as that when I go and do the longer reviews, I'd have, you know, everything down, the pages, what I'd rated it initially, and the start and end date. So that bit was pretty good. Reviewed, yes or no? I mean, I reviewed pretty much everything. There was only a few that I didn't include. But yeah, it worked. It was all right. I don't know if you'd like, I don't know, maybe some people would just do this and not do a longer review, but that's kind of the point of a reading journal for me. So I didn't need this many pages. And then we get into the reviews. So I didn't do a cover page for January. I wrote in pencil. Professional. And it was pretty obvious. Yeah, I just didn't get around to it. So this is a audiobook that I'm still listening to with my partner. It's Hugh Howey's Shift. And I just started off just answering the prompts and not really decorating too much, and then decorating on like the last page. Again, I didn't really need this much space, but I do come to use it later. 1,000 Autumns, that was excellent, brilliant books. So you can see I start kind of getting an idea of how to decorate within this it's a very preset format. If you're used to just going from a blank page. Let me just quickly show you what I was using before. And I think I did cover this in the review very quickly. So this was my old reading journal. It came in a box, which is very fancy. And it's not like dot grid paper. It's just lined writing paper. I think it was a writing journal, a journaling journal. And like I set up all the trackers and the bits and pieces that you do at the start of a journal. And then I'd do a cover page and then get straight into the decorations. So I think because even though this is kind of formatted, you have the border and you have the lines, I felt that it was much easier to decorate and work with. I think having that double page spread initially really helped with the decoration. So they are just a few quick scans of the old format. I am going to a dot grid for this year, and that's going to go from one extreme to the other because it'll be absolutely everything do yourself, no limits. Again, no cover page, just fair. Maybe I thought I was going to come back and do it, but I didn't. And you can see I start to kind of get into the decoration a little bit more here, feeling my way around. But yeah, on the whole, like the prompts were a bit like book club prompts, if that makes sense. And I don't really analyse what I'm reading. I tend to be a bit of a binge reader, I guess. My memory isn't great, so once I've read a book, I'll probably forget a lot of it. It's just the way my brain is. So I don't really want to spend a lot of time afterwards thinking about the author's premise and what did he mean by this characterization or that characterization. I don't want to think about that. Like, no offense to people that do, that's brilliant, you do you. I enjoy the stories, that's why I read books. It's a bit of escapism for me. So yes, some of the prompts were a little bit not really what I would have chosen to answer, and that did get a little bit monotonous. So as you can see, they often have these blank pages where I didn't need them. I don't write a huge amount about the books, mostly because by the time I finish them, I can't really remember the start. Remember bits and pieces, but it's quite difficult for me. Did enjoy some of the quotes, the quote spaces. That was okay. What else? What else can we say? Yeah, so it was interesting to use. I liked the preset stars, and I like this bit. I might carry that over into my new journal, where you rate the cover design, the writing style, the story and plot, and the characters. And that's often quite good if I can't really decide what star rating I want to give something. I mean, as you can see, like, I'm very easily pleased. I give a lot of 5-star ratings. So where do we start doing the covers? When did we start doing that? Let's have a look. Spaces. Here we go. So then I started using the blank spaces as a bit of a cover and somewhere to write down the books that I'd read in the month. This idea is inspired mostly by Mochi Bujo. She's a huge inspiration for me. Thank you, Heather. Both in my bullet journal and in my reading journal. And she does something similar. She'll do a cover and then she'll do spaces to write the books that she's read. I'm not sure if anybody else does that. If anybody else does that, please do let me know, because I quite like that format. It'd be good to see other creators. So yeah, we got into it. We decorated a little bit, or a lot in some cases. So I would say like my overall review and rating for this reading journal is that it's okay. You know, I'm sure there are a lot worse formats to use, but I didn't enjoy it as much as just having a blank page to decorate and, you know, just make it how you want it to be. So because I read 50 books, and there were a few that I didn't include in here, this is really messy. It started off okay. Look at this. This bit started off okay. I decided to do Erin Smith's Bewitched Book Challenge, and I wanted somewhere to log all of the prompts, and there was a lot of information, and I probably should have used a ruler and done it neater, but I think I was just doing it like on the sofa, not really thinking about it too much. Yeah. So it works. It works okay. I think if you are a thinker, a thinking reader, you like to analyse and dissect the books and the author's inspiration and style, I think you'd probably enjoy this reading journal. And if you are a writer more so than a decorator, if that makes sense. Because there's lots of space to write all your bits and bobs. So this was the last month, December. Finished the 3-Body Problem or Dark Forest trilogy, and finished with another Chinese novel, because we love the Chinese novel, and a book on meditation. So then we get to the reading statistics. I've started using Storygraph to just log my books, and it's really good because it breaks all the statistics down for you at the end of the month and at the end of the year. So last year I read 50 books, read 19,864 pages, days read, most, because I didn't keep the tracker. Shortest book was compulsory, and it took me a day to read. It's only a very, very short note of a novella. And the slowest was Taoist Megong, and that's because I was working with it over several months, practicing each section. So you can see, like, I did use this. I used all the fantasy genres, most read author, and format, diversity. All this used, didn't use this, and don't quite understand why it's repeated. Is that if you use it for more than 1 year, maybe? Or if you're doing like monthly statistics, but then there's only 3 pages. So there are some questions you know? Yeah, started doing the book awards section. Best book project, Hail Mary. Nothing has topped it since I read it like 2 years ago. And I did read the audio book. If you get a chance to listen to the audio book, the Project Hail Mary with, I can't remember his name. What's his name? It's the male narrator. It's amazing. It's so good. They really encapsulate the book and the characters. Ace, really good. And then I started filling out the least favourite books, and then decided I didn't really want to stay with that negativity. Like, they're gone. We finished them. We didn't finish some of them. They're passed on. And yeah, like I didn't use this bit. Didn't use favourite quotes because, again, I forget stuff, and I've already done a few quotes in these setups, so didn't need that. Others may. Your mileage may vary. Library card, didn't use that. If I loan books out, it's generally to my mother-in-law or the family. So, and if they come back, they come back, and if they don't, they go on to other people. So that's okay. And I didn't fill in the recommendations because, again, I use Storygraph to just add things to my upcoming, and I didn't use the blank spaces at the end. So there we go. That's the Quirky Cup Collective's reading journal. I think I said Quirky Cup Club or something at the start. It's Quirky Cup Collective. They're an Australian company, and their stuff, for the want of a better word, they do journals, they do reading journals, they do like Kindle covers, all sorts, pens, bookmarks, lots of things. Where was I going with this? Yeah, the cover was excellent, and I did keep using it. I didn't stop. I did use it throughout the year, so that's good. And I did enjoy using it for the most part, but it would be interesting to count how many blank pages are in here. You know? Because, yeah, you kind of want to use all the pages, don't you? So, there we go. Overall review. It was okay. It worked. It was functional. I think it would suit readers that, like I said before, like to get into the writing styles and analyse the books a little bit more than me. But I did enjoy using it. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous and has held up as well. I mean, it's become quite chunky. It's quite thick, full of stuff. And we haven't got any tearing. It's, no matter where you open it, it's intact. So I think, whoever they're using for their binders, they're doing a really, really good job. It's good quality. Yeah. So that's the review for the Quirky Cup Collective's reading journal. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put the card up for the initial reading journal review. So if you want to go and see how much I've changed my mind after using it, you can go back and watch that. And other than that, I hope you are having a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye!